Hey, this is Josh Thompson. Thanks again for listening. If this content is encouraging to you, it would mean the world to us if you would rate the podcast. Your rating will help more people find the show. You can also journey with us by subscribing to our channel. And if you share it on social media, please feel free to tag me and our guests. We appreciate when you share this podcast with those you know. We are believing it will continue to stoke the fire in people again. Special thank you to Landmark Coffee Roasters, a sponsor for this podcast. If you haven't tasted their coffee, you got to go check it out. They got the best beans in Southern California. Go to landmarkroasters.com. Type in promo code STOKEHOUSE to get 20% off. That's landmarkroasters.com. Special thank you to Ola Canvas, a sponsor for this podcast. They build super durable, high-quality clothing out of Costa Mesa, California. Ola Canvas is a small business of creators making some of my favorite clothing and products on the planet because they take time to build each piece and make it with high-quality material. Check them out at olacanvas.com. That's O-L-A canvas.com. Welcome to the Stokehouse. Time to get fired up. Yee! Ladies and gentlemen, Dougie Mann in the Stokehouse. Dougie, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
This guy, an amazing description written out. I got to read this. In the salt-worn streets of Coronado, Dougie Mann emerged, a son of the waves and wind, baptized in surf and sea, a creator who wrestles possibility from ambition. He founded the Pier Club, Big Yellow Coffee, and the Mann Company with the fierce spirit of California. Married to Hayley, the father of Buck, Dolly, Sonny, and Winnie. 4 kids.
4 kids, baby.
Man is a man of hands and heart, forever listening to the whispers of the next great adventure. I love it, man. We got Dougie Mann in the Stokehouse. Brother, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
That was the epic John Steinbeck intro.
Yep.
And layered with color and warmth, and I love the description.
Yeah.
So you grew up here, Southern California, is that right?
I did. Coronado, California.
And we have never met.
We haven't met. Yeah.
Just online.
Yes.
But we have a mutual friend, Todd Moore. And I don't know. We did the podcast with Todd Moore, and then
Great Nobody, and got Todd Moore telling his story.
Yes, Great Nobody and Merchants in the Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd came on, such a great show. And lo and behold, the connection came online. And then I reached out to Doug. And I'm like, dude, you got to come on the show.
Yeah.
I was checking out your profile and all the stuff that you're up to. And I was actually stoked when you sent over the bio because I didn't know a lot of these things that you're involved in. So, and this is best. We've kind of cold turkey this thing because I was like, I don't know Doug yet, but I want to get to know him on the show. This is where it's going to happen right
here.
So we literally,
as it gets here.
I tried not to ask too many questions because I wanted the full baptism, as was said, of Dougie Mann. Well, dude, so grew up here in Southern California.
Southern California, Coronado, California.
Yes.
Grew up there. My, I have currently living in Orange County, but grew up down there surfing Coronado as well as Imperial Beach, all up and down the coast there.
Mm-hmm.
Sailing, surfing, fishing, everything good a kid can get into. Any kind of trouble a kid can get into on Coronado, I got into it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So full waterman, baptized in the ocean.
Yep.
And so your parents moved down there when you were young, or did you were you born down there?
Yeah, I was actually born in Massachusetts.
Okay.
For about a year or two. My dad was really deep into restaurants.
Okay.
He did all the he had one out there in Duxbury, Massachusetts called Buck's Tavern that he started out.
Fun.
He took it over from the Chart House restaurant where he worked with as well. Ran it for a while, and while he was doing that, I was born in Duxbury. So it was a quick turnaround there, but we ended up coming to Coronado after that. Okay. I got a lot of siblings, 3 siblings, but they all grew up primarily in Hawaii, on Maui.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, did they grow up with you in Coronado at all, or?
They did. Yeah. So my brother was a freshman in high school when we pulled in. And he was starting the high school journey at that point.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then he's 11 years older than me, and then my sisters are 13 and 16 years older.
I see. Yeah. So kind of quite a gap between you and your brother.
Yep.
And so kind of again running around, getting into trouble by yourself when you're a kid there.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. And
this was the late 80s, early 90s.
So how old are you when you get into
Coronado? I was two.
2 years.
Yeah, I think I was about two.
Wow.
2 or 3.
Okay.
And I was I lived on First Street for a couple of years there, and then moved to 6th Street, and then was there until for the rest of my spent all growing up there until about 6th, 7th grade.
Okay. And then so your parents into must be into a lot of the water sports or
my dad is he grew up on the East Coast, swimming in high school. He was in a pretty exclusive boys' school out there called Deerfield. And
okay.
So he was all boys swim team there. It was like old school, like I don't know if you've read the book Separate Piece, but that's like it tells the story of the similar old school. When I read that book, I was surprised how much it was like all the stories my dad was telling me. But it was all basically it goes through like a long time ago. It was long enough ago that the kids it was just all boys boarding school. So like his swim team, they would all, they didn't even wear suits. They would just go swimming in the pool. It was an old school deal.
Yeah. And so your dad grew up in the water, thus you're growing up in the water.
Yeah, and then he went to Hawaii. His ocean introduction happened when he was older, when he was about 22, he said.
Okay.
And I think, and then Hawaii started getting an outrigger canoe. He actually started really with his frogman stuff. He became a UDT frogman back in the day.
Wow.
And so he was always loved, just being in trunks, having the minimal amount of stuff and going in the ocean as much as possible. Was the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. My brother and him made sure we got in the ocean every single day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you grew up in the ocean. I love it, man.
Yeah. And so he went through that program, and then as a frogman, the UDT underwater demolition team is before the Navy SEAL. So it was like it's a cooler. I like the SEALs too, but I always gravitate towards the feeling of that group of people, just because they're so they were so unique as far as what they were accomplishing.
Yeah.
They didn't even have as much like training in like weaponry. They didn't use as many guns. They were mostly just sneaking in and getting out.
Wow.
So
these are the Navy SEAls before the Navy SEAls. Frogmen. And they underwater demolition and a lot of missions underwater without the technology that we have today.
Exactly. Yeah.
So these guys are highly skilled and obviously had to train like above and beyond. And they were doing things that are, probably even seen today as like unearthly, right? I mean, it's just what these guys were able to accomplish.
Exactly. Yeah. It was superhuman strength, for sure. And my dad's always had that, he's just a incredible, charismatic guy, super authentic. And, he's inspired a lot of stuff in my life.
Your dad's name?
Lance Mann.
Lance Mann.
Yeah.
Yes. And he shout out to Dad.
Shout out to Big Tom.
Yeah.
His nickname's Big Tom.
Okay, shout out to Big Tom.
Yeah. That's an acronym for the old man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were telling me he did a podcast with Jocko, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You can check that out online, hear more of his story, huh?
Yeah, check out his podcast. He interviewed by Jocko Willink. It's cool. His story is just absolutely amazing. So.
I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah.
I will. And so grew up in Coronado.
Yep.
You guys are in the water, and did you do sports when you were young? Did you?
Yeah. So surfing was number one, and then
what was your spot down there?
Center Beach, baby. Pit proper outlet. When there's south swell was best. When also lifeguarded a lot. So when you guarded, the trick when you were younger, you could lifeguard on base on the North Island. So they hired younger kids. I think you could be 14 when you started, and if you could make it through the academy, you could sign up there. And so then it was like a cool, different old Lost Boys kind of situation there. It was no supervision. Our captain was awesome. This amazing ocean guy.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And so it was like, no, like my brother was already there. And so I was just learning from him. But yeah, I would have to you'd have to paddle around the base fence to be able to get over there. And
really?
So, yeah. So as a kid, I was always paddling over there, and as I was like the quote unquote junior lifeguard. But, it was just an incredible place. Like they had this tower that was just a stick it was just a box on this tall concrete stick. And then they had to build the rest of it themselves, so they ended up raising enough money to build a box structure around it. And so they would and they found the stadium seats from the Jack Murphy Stadium. And so they pulled some of those out and had some chairs there as a result from that.
So cool.
Yeah, it was all salvaged. There was this place called the R Zone that was the restricted zone, and we were the only ones for some reason allowed to go down there, and because we had to rescue people sometimes. And then, but it was where all the stuff collected from the ocean. So because there was a current coming from Mexico all the way up to Coronado. And it flows. Everything would get caught in there. We called it the catcher's mitt of the Pacific because it would everything would get washed up there. So
lots of treasure.
Lots of treasure. Yeah, treasure hunting.
That's fun.
Yeah, snorkels, mass, boogie boards. We would find enough boogie boards we would rent all the boogie boards to all the people at the lodge.
Oh, that's great.
And so we had like that. It was like a full pirate boogie board rental thing.
Oh, I love it. That's so cool.
Yeah, so I was just mostly the junior guard in that situation, and then finally got to be a guard, and so I was fired up and got to go and actually make some rescues, and that started there. I think actually my first real day of duty, I had a real rescue, and it was crazy. So I was thrown into it, and then once that deal kind of expired at some point, well, the administration kind of caved on us, but then they built a new tower, which was the first problem, and then from there the administration on base was, it's very bureaucratic. You learn how to kind of navigate the military bureaucracy.
I see,
but they ended up shutting us down, or they just changed the culture there.
I see,
and then so then I ended up going to Coronado, the actual island, the actual agency there. Captain Carey, shout out to Sean Carey.
All right, Sean Carey.
And so he was always accommodating me. He also let my dad on at the same time. My dad he had just become ocean lifeguard at the same time as me.
Oh, wow.
Or just before me. But he was, we signed up at Coronado at the same time.
That's cool.
We did tryouts together. He was like 60, he's probably like 63 at that point.
Oh, I love it.
And so, he became like probably the oldest lifeguard.
Wow.
Ocean lifeguard probably ever. He retired finally at about 81.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So,
but if anybody could do it, it's probably a frogman. No doubt.
It's him, man. Yeah. He's still looking fit, still doing it.
So cool.
Yeah. Yeah. He just hit 85. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's letting us know that you can.
Yeah.
You can do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can stay in shape. You can keep running. You can keep going. And
yeah. The academy was, it was a serious thing. It was a lot of physical activity. You get really cold, and it's about a 2-week long deal, and you're going through a lot during that thing. So it's to get through, it's a lot, and he did it fine.
So I mean, you kind of have this visual from being a little kid into growing up in the water. Like you can see step by step what makes, true watermen, what makes someone want to pursue the ocean and be a part of it and not be in fear of it. I think a lot of people listening, are just, when they think of the ocean, they immediately think
fear, sharks,
and big water.
Yep.
Cold, big movement, especially Pacific, so.
Yeah.
Like how did this happen? I mean, 2 years old, you just,
Yeah. So that's kind of like God-wise, that was always for me, I grew up with an Episcopal church background, but it never quite rang true in my head with all this stuff.
Yeah.
because I felt like I had a good relationship with God just because of the ocean, you know, and being a kid going under a huge wave. And I remember the first time a huge south swell came, and I was brave enough to just go out there and paddle out, and you know, one of these waves coming through, and you have to duck dive under it, and you have no faith but no choice but to have faith, you know, and just go under that wave and duck dive like you know how to do. And you've done it a million times on little waves, and then this big wave comes through, a real big wave comes through, and then that's when your faith, and then all of a sudden your faith is just, you come up on the other side, and that feeling of coming up that's when you're like, oh, whoa, it actually works.
Yeah. Right.
The big waves are the same as the small waves.
Yes. Yeah.
and God was there. No problem.
Wow.
Yeah, he had you on the other side. He was waiting for you.
Yes. Yeah. No doubt. You know, when it's like that, it's that nervous moment when you look on the horizon, you're like, are you kidding me? Like, that's a big wave, and I've already been hit by 2. And like, I don't know what's going to happen. And, you know, sometimes you get tossed a little bit under that wave. You duck dive and you can go rolling, you know, under that thing. And I never really thought about that from that angle completely, but I think it's very interesting because there are moments when you're down there, or, you know, and you're just like, please God, like or you've been holding your breath for so long, or you're tired from paddling.
Yeah.
That like, you're like, I got to get out of here, you know, like, and it does, it like pushes your mind and your heart like to another place where you're believing, trusting, hoping that God's going to intervene and calm this thing, give you another breath. You're going to be able to get through. Yeah. And when you come out the other side and the set's gone and you're just like, yeah, dude, like you made it. And
okay. Yeah.
I'm going to be okay.
Smooth sailing. Yeah. On the other side, man.
Some big sets come through down there in Coronado.
Yeah. It's direct south facing beach. So it gets some really good stuff.
And is that reef, or was it a beach break?
Beach break, yeah.
Okay.
It's when there's a direct south, that's when we have a good time.
Oh.
Yeah, and Center Beach too gets good. And I just had another session with my brother the other day. We were at Center Beach, which it gets a little bit more, I guess, southwest. I guess that's what it is. But it's it's just bigger. It gets further out. Outlet, the south facing beach is more shorter paddle, just more grindy, really steep. It was very similar when I went to Newport and then started body surfing at Wedge. It's a lot like the Wedge, you know. So going, and then when I went to the Wedge, it was like this is in Imperial Beach in particular. There's some Boca Rios, especially when I was growing up. It's changed a lot because they have a lot of sand movement up there. So the breaks have all changed since I was little, but growing up when it was Boca Rios back then, which I'm sure it's probably kind of back there now, but it was just a really grindy, very, really it was like you were talking about, so much water moving. And people worry about pollution and stuff, but I mean, really, like, you were worried about kicking a dead body or something you were thinking like a dead body was under there. You were worried about a lot of other different things.
Right.
Wow. And as a kid, it was just, it made you just resilient, it was like, it made you, I mean, I was a very fearless kid at that time, so it took me to become an adult again, to build that fear back up. But yeah, so I think that's why God comes in handy, because you got to break that fear back down, but it's, so.
And the ocean is so magnificent that it begs something greater than, it makes you feel so small.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very, very quickly. Like if you need a reality check, just go jump in the ocean.
Exactly.
You'll find out really, really quickly, like, we're not that big.
Yep. Every time. Yeah.
Yeah. Even to this day, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
When a big session shows up, paddling out, still this day, like all of that, all that rush and that anticipation and that nervousness. And it's just like, I love paddling out into it, but you never know what's going to happen, Like, this is going to be a great session. I'm going to get whacked,
Yeah, totally. Where do you go around here?
I surf, here in LA. I was in LA here the place that we normally surf is First Point, so I'm in the with the crowds.
Yeah. I mean, that's as good a wave as it gets right there, man.
And well, when it stands up, it's like ridiculous. It's like a tree, like it looks like a train moving. You know, when this is Malibu First Point. When you look at the pier, and it basically from second, you'll see this thing stand up, and then it will just throw, and it when it's going. It's so fun. The crowds are ridiculous, and it's always a circus and always a fight, and but we've learned to navigate. A fun story. Well, I won't tell the whole story. the first year I got here in LA, we paddled out, and I basically almost got in a fight with all these guys, and they cussed me out of the water, and I was so angry.
It happens sometimes.
And like I don't like, and I'm supposed to be this pastor, just like, dude, like. I was so mad, and I can neither confirm nor deny if I shouted back at them a bunch of times too. But, anyways, I get out of the water, and I'm like, I told Katie, my wife, I'm like, forget this. We went down to Topanga.
Yep.
Started surfing Topanga for a while. I didn't live far from there, and then. I was about a year there, and then went back up to Malibu. I found a little secret spot, and I got some cool private access.
Awesome.
Yeah, just north of the pier. There's a really great wave up there.
Yeah,
and especially when it's going off, like
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
my wife. When she was going to Pepperdine there, she had the key to that spot.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was good.
Yeah. So when that thing goes off, there's like not very many people out, and it's super fun.
Yeah.
So started surfing that, made my way back to First Point Malibu, and we learned the etiquette. You know, you kind of figure out like who the 5 or 6 guys you just stay away from. And when it's big, it's running, it's super fun. So yeah, that's where I spent most of my time.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. No, I love that stuff.
But I grew up surfing down south though, South Orange County, Sano, Church. Okay. Church is my favorite spot in the world.
Yeah. So awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Old Man.
Yes.
Yeah. Churches is the best.
You come up and surf LA at all?
Yeah, I went to Pepperdine University.
You did?
For undergrad.
Okay.
That stuff there.
Fun.
Yeah. So did 5 years there. I played water polo after in high school and in college. So yeah, was playing water polo there, and somehow they let me into that school, and I was stoked, man.
Yeah.
Talk about the Stoked house.
Oh, what a great place to go to school.
Yeah, it was killer. Yeah, it was really awesome. Yeah, the surfing, water polo. Yeah, I was exhausted the whole time, but it was a good exhaustion. Yeah.
So you did you grow up public school, private school, homeschool?
Public school down in Coronado has a really good public school deal. Yeah. So it's you could ride your bike there.
Wow.
Every day. So yeah, I would.
It's a pretty safe place then.
Super safe. Yeah. That was the coolest part about it.
A lot of Navy SEALs in there.
Yep. Tons of SEALs.
Yeah. The SEAL base is right there.
Amphibious base is right there. The North Island is the other one. So North Island's has the airfields where like Top Gun was all filmed and stuff. So yeah, that was and being able to lifeguard there. And my dad was able to get us on base a lot. So yeah, just seeing that whole world was so cool. I never did it myself, but it was just so influential on me for sure. Yeah, just the way it all was, and how kind of sleepy really the base is, and it's bigger than Coronado, the town. So it's really cool. There's some really cool old architecture on there and stuff too. So
yeah, I got to go one time. I know. I think he's SEAL Team 7. I think he's leading that team. I met this guy through a bunch of the brothers, and
cool.
He brought all the guys down there. We did a big tour and got to walk around and see the whole thing.
Oh, rad.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So you saw it? Did you go to Amphibase maybe then? Or the new one in IB?
I don't know the answer to that question, but there's like these giant warehouses on the beach, and they showed us all the offices and like all the headquarters where they meet and all that stuff. And then we went across the street to their worworkout facilities, and we just saw like all of that. And yeah.
Yeah, that's Amphibase.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a lot of friends. Like I think of my water polo starting lineup or one water polo team, I think there was probably 4 or 5 guys who ended up being teams / one guy Coast Guard. And now they're one guy I know a lot of guys who went to Naval Academy, and and then got to go out there a couple times because of water polo, and see and in Annapolis, see that whole thing out there is amazing. So I admire that whole community a lot. Yeah. So
were you drawn to the SEAL teams at all because your dad was a frogman?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely considered it a lot, and it was right when I was just right out of college and considering it. There's probably about a week I was like ready to go, and then but then I was in love with Hayley.
Yes. Hey, shout out to Hayley.
Hayley.
Yes.
Yeah, and still am. And so I wasn't about to. The idea of being 9 months away from her just didn't appeal to me, and I was starting up a bunch of stuff, so I was excited to get working.
I see. Yeah. So grew up, public school system down in Coronado, and did you pick up? So surfboard was your first adventure into the ocean, or were you body surfing, or were you just doing it all?
Doing it all.
Was the boat or what? Yeah, what?
Boating was later, like in middle school.
Okay.
I was sailing a lot, but the Coronado Yacht Club down there, we have amazing like kids sailing program. So a lot of my friends there too. I'm still very close with our. They have a really good sailing program there that we all went through, and so that was my first boating kind of thing, was sailing.
And then but surfing was the introduction. That was your tool in your belt that brought you into the water basically on a daily basis.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and trying to keep up with my brother. My brother's like he's really a good surfer. Yeah, and then what's
your brother's name?
Dan Mann.
Dan Mann.
Yeah.
Dan Mann.
Dan the Man. Yeah, he's a world famous shaper now.
Wow.
And
does he surf? He just shapes his own boards, or is he?
Yeah. He started with me. I bought one of his first ones, or I don't know, maybe I stole it from him. I'm not sure. But it was like I remember like taking off on a couple waves and at outlet, some big ones, and the fins were not aligned. It was like humming, you're making that noise when they're not aligned. He's come a long way, man. Yeah, he was shaping out of this little container and on the naval base there, and then he's grown into a huge icon now.
Where's he stationed now?
He shapes for Firewire surfboards now. Okay, he's doing he's directly connected with Kelly Slater, making all his stuff. Incredible, he made this radical board for him. I remember he was talking about it, and he just designed it because he could see what he needed, and then in good faith just sent it to this place in Australia, I remember. And then I think it was just missing in action for like 2 years, and then Slater finally somehow connected the dots that he had shaped that board and heard about it from somebody else or finally sniffed it out, and he wrote it, and he was fired up on it. So I think and then he's since built, he was already making a lot of the Firewire designs that were the most popular ones at the time. And then he's since just continued building, just pushing it further and further.
Incredible.
He went from shaping, glassing. He had his own factory that I would go to in San Diego. And then they bought the factory from him. And then he was early on the CNC machine stuff.
Amazing.
He was really interested in like technology, like some of the coolest boards I rode from him. He literally had a golf shaft that he just cut and put it in the middle of it. And this was like really early,
Really?
So it was like
a golf shaft.
Yeah. And so the flex was like insane. And then he had these other fins that were crazy. I remember this one board that they like almost like made you hydroplane a little bit. So it was this weird, that was one of the coolest boards I've ever ridden, but it was, the problem was the shaft would eventually pop through. It didn't last very long, but it was a cool feeling. Yeah, as a surfboard.
Because like I said, the flex in the shaft. Yeah. Could propel you, do all kinds of stuff.
As like a guy, I'm never that good. I can do the turns and stuff that well, but with that, all of a sudden I could start connecting some dots. It was the board was better than me, so it would make me elevate a lot. Yeah. So,
yeah.
And now he's still doing his own thing. He's got my current board is a 9.6. It's really long, but it's people like yell at me call me, look at this guy. I look like people think it's something weird, and they think I have like a gun or something. You going to Waimea? Waimea's that way, And so, but it's like, I went to Old Man's with it one time, and just it creates its own lineup. It's like the volume on it's amazing, and it turns, no problem. It's so responsive and crazy what it is. But he calls that one the all-in-one. I think
I got to see this board.
There's one of the Firewires is the newer is his. There's a mid-length they just launched that is based off that all the volume like placement that he did on that. So that was kind of his. I want to try one of the Firewire versions, but yeah, I've had this one for a long time now. But
that's pretty sweet, dude. Your brother's like probably one of the best shapers in the whole world. That's kind of a pretty sweet hookup.
Oh, it's awesome, man. You kidding?
Dude. And he's all into the new technology, like kind of just what's working, what's not.
Oh yeah. He cuts through it all, and I've always just been ahead of the game on that stuff.
It's cool.
Just as, not knowing anything, so it's been amazing. I remember in college just thinking it was normal, but it was but all my friends were like, why'd you get that new board? And he always dialed me in, and he always, took care of his brother, and a great big brother.
And you can find him. Is he Dan the Man on Instagram?
Yeah, follow him on Instagram. I think he's just Dan Man. If you look him up, he's got a good little following. So yeah, check him out, Dan Man. Check out his all the Firewire stuff. Slater's always talking about him too. He's in like a bunch of cool videos. He does a lot of interviews now. He was always really sheepish on interviews, but they finally have cracked the poor guy.
That's cool.
Yeah, which is good for everybody else.
You got an open invitation. You ever want to bring him up here?
Yeah, it would be cool. I would love for him to talk to you.
You guys come together, man. It'd be fun.
That would be fun.
It'd be fun. You can surf First Point too.
Yeah, we'll get you an all-in-one. You can just bypass all those guys.
Hey, I might get beat up, but I'll get some waves.
They won't be able to catch up to you. You create your own lineup.
I love it. So cool. So yeah, surfboard is the first tool, and then you picked up some sailing.
Sailing. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. And then my dad he had a sailboat, like a bigger one. That we do beer can races every Thursday night. And so I remember that he was a partner on that. That was really cool. And then,
it's just wild for me to process this because, and what the listener don't know is that I'm like, and Dougie, I'm listening because I'm trying to like download so that I can then like import this into my son, like I really want like, I want my guys to like really take this stuff on.
Yeah.
And I think I always dreamed about being able to, like live that life and step into it.
Yeah.
And
it's very hard as a father. It's hard though. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's a lot to, it's trying to make sure it's passed down it's a big responsibility. Yeah.
And but you didn't know, you didn't know you were growing up in it. You were just growing up in it, right?
Yeah, I didn't.
It was just happening.
Yeah, it was no big deal. Yeah, like I was just kind of like surprised when people didn't go in the ocean. You don't go in the ocean every day.
Yeah.
And then, it was just surprising that people would wimp out, putting their head under the water or something. They go on a paddle or something and not get their head wet.
Yeah.
What was the point of the paddle?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So that stuff always was, just it seemed real easy. It seemed so natural to me. And, my dad made it real easy, and my brother as well. He was he would wake me up as a kid, and thinking back on that he was in high school and college at that time, but he would wake me up as a little kid and drag me down to IB on, multiple days a week. And when there was swell and, as a little kid getting out there, it's, hanging out on the rocks, talking to these cool guys, hearing all their knowledge about the surf and how the wind and the waves, everything worked, and all their stories, and then going out and learning the hard way about the ocean. It was it was incredible. I loved it. I had a really cool upbringing, and my brother, thinking about him going as a kid, pulling me down there, man, that took some some gumption, man. That's not easy to do at all.
Totally.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's scary, you know, because you're dragging your kids out or your little brother out in the water, and you want to make sure he's safe and okay. But it's just like he somehow knew you're going to be just fine. You got it, and because you're scared, you know, and you're trying to figure it out and you're navigating it. But it's nice when Big Brother's looking at you like, you got this. You're going to be just fine.
He took the fear away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so sailing, you know, what some of the mechanics of sailing that bleeds into like things that you picked up, you know, that, you know, are sitting right there. Like what are the secrets like sitting and sailing, I guess, like when you process sailing, even as a junior hire, you know, to now, like what immediately flashes in your mind?
Just well, I mean, you learn so much about the wind and wind direction and how much it affects everything, you know. You know, it's sailing good too, because that was when, you know, if the surf was blown out, it was meant the sailing was good, you know, so you could hop in I really got, FJs where I got to the final end of my kind of my younger years, but yeah, FJs were amazing, and they were so much faster than the Sabbaths were so lame for a while there, but yeah, so the Sabbaths were good because they teach you everything as a kid. You're really independent going around the bay, and they challenge you, make you go to really weird places of the bay, and
they just drop you in a little sailboat by yourself, and you just like got to figure it out.
Yeah, you're just in like a little group of people, you know, and you end up, we went like, there was the big day was like you sail all the way down from Glorieta Bay down to the South Bay, which is
so cool,
really far down there.
Yeah.
There was like these crazy, there's like a mooring out there. There's like a ton of boats that sit out there. The mooring, it's like, and they was like, you know, all these sketchy boats, you know, the people like were living on, and there was this weird like castle one.
Whoa.
Yeah. Somehow it was associated with like the strip club on Sports Arena Drive or something. I don't know. It was like the Magic Castle or something. I remember seeing that thing, and you get to sail around it and see what that thing was, and nothing was going on. It was just I think it was a failed thing, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see this weird, it was like going on to a different planet there, seeing all those old boats and the weird little life out there. And yeah, you just had to you had to go there and grind through sit through when the lulls were happening, you know, just learn from you have to just wait it out, and you could keep your eye on the water and see when you could see the ripple kind of coming from far away, and then you knew wind was coming. So and then once it came, you just became really in tune to that. Yeah.
Wow.
Just through observation, and
like you can follow the wind.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
What a statement.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's what's crazy about it. Yeah, it's true freedom, and it's if you do have, I've never gone a real, like, you know, as a grown up with a real sailboat, but I remember, seeing other people do it. It seems like there's an incredible freedom with, you know, have no gas, like you're able just to sail, and you can go to Catalina, you can go to, you know, all these, you can go around the world. You know, my one good friend, shout out to Brian Haynes, baby. He took his whole family to
Brian Haynes.
Yeah, trusty old B Haynes, like an old watchdog.
Nice.
He took his whole family on. He's like a really good sailor, but he went to Stanford, you know, and he loaded up his whole family, 2 young kids, and went to, you know, down to Baja California, and then they went across the Pacific and went through all the you know, like the Pacific islands.
Wow.
So it was like crazy. The pictures I'm seeing from him was amazing, you know, and what a crazy different perspective, you know.
Would you ever do it?
I just don't know. Yeah, I mean,
sail Catalina?
I think his wife was down, you know. So yeah, it would just have to be, you'd have to have buy-in by everybody, but it's
right.
I'd be down. It would be, you'd have to be it would take just doing it, I guess. Yeah. Talk about, you know, faith, you know, in your skill and being able to keep everybody alive. Literally, you're just surviving, you know? So yeah, he's like catching fish, keep feeding his family, and ashore. And he was in these remote islands. So yeah, I imagine him. And I think eventually he looked like extra empowered in all the pictures, you know, so he seemed really strong, you know, so, and he's just such he's been built, he grew up doing really kind of more hard. His dad was like a famous sailor too. He was Olympian for sailing, and so he had a lot of exposure to all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So,
but it is a big risk, to just get on the boat and just go for it and just trust the ocean.
Yeah.
Trust that the ocean's going to feed you and the wind's going to show up, and ultimately trusting God, no doubt.
Yeah, go through storms with your family and
whoa.
Yeah.
I could preach that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good sermon right there.
Yeah. Baby.
So, sailing super fun, and then water polo took over somewhere along the way here in school, right?
Yeah.
So was this around high school?
8th grade. Yeah, my buddy Ratcliffe. Shout out to Rat. He's also one of the Navy SEAL guys I was telling you about.
Okay.
But he I don't know if he recruited me but he was somehow I heard to talk to him, or he recruited me, but he was like, yeah, you should play water polo. So I was like, sure, and I started in 8th grade. Didn't know anything about it. Couldn't yig bait or anything, I was just going for it. And then saw like
were you already doing swim and stuff when you were a kid?
I didn't do swim team. I just was, my dad was kind of like, he's kind of finally like, you got to find your sport kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's either, or you could just fire up for swimming. And then I was like, I was kind of like, okay, I'll do swimming, but I really didn't want to. And then once I heard water polo, you could actually play a game. That sounded a lot more fun than just grinding through laps. But it backfired because I had to do swim team as a result of water polo.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. You got to swim laps.
Yep.
And water polo, if you didn't know, is like, this is not an easy sport. I mean, you're treading water the whole time, and these dudes are fighting each other. Like, this is like hockey fights in the water. Ice hockey fighting in the water, but it's constantly happening under the water. You don't even know it's happening.
Yeah.
I was playing football with the swim team, and the teachers are trying to recruit me to come play water polo.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, dude, I can't get in a Speedo, man. I don't know what to do. I'm nervous about it. Just put some shorts on and get in the water. Let's go. Biggest regret, dude. I never did it.
Yeah.
I'm like so sad.
Yeah.
But come to find out, like right after high school, the guys I ended up going surfing with and hanging out with, they were all water polo players, and these dudes were jacked. They were just like, they're in the best shape, in school, and these people are, they're very disciplined, very focused, very aggressive. Yeah, they're just different humans.
Yeah.
And as has been, like a lot of the water polo players I meet, it's just like this. A lot of people don't understand the sport. They don't understand what's actually happening in that water, but
totally
incredible sport.
Oh, where did you go to high school?
I went to Ramona. I grew up in the Inland Empire in Riverside.
Oh, nice.
And we were. So I dreamed about the beach. I'm about an hour from shore. Blackie's is probably the closest thing to me.
Okay.
We could probably get there in 45, 50 minutes, probably the fastest. But
so you're like my dad as far as you were a late bloomer in the ocean stuff.
That's right. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I didn't get in the water until probably 15, 16 years old, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And so, the adventure was waking up early, a little dawn patrol before I even knew what that was, and beelining all the way down to Sano.
Yeah.
And
that is awesome.
Yeah. And then we'd surf the point, or we would go run up to church and try and surf that. And that was the adventure, and that's what kind of built that whole dream of like, being in the ocean. And I don't know, there's nothing like it for me. I used to have long hair, use your imagination, like really long hair, and a beard, and I just I don't know, I just connected with the ocean. There's like, I try to tell people all the time, I want to come surf with me. It was just like, there's just nothing like, it's like you're getting this really cold water, so you get your cold plunge in. Then you're getting the saltwater bath experience. Then you're getting like the sun. Then you're getting a workout in the water.
Yeah.
Then you're getting a new adventure every single wave. Like every wave is different.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then you get to see some dolphins out on the water, and the seal comes up to you, and the whale goes by, and like and I don't know, I love the rush, of course. Like I love like when you wait for 45 minutes and you catch a great wave. It's like that experience is incredible. And then nothing like, after you've surfed a long time, you had 2-3 hours in the water, you get out, you lay on the beach, and you just like either take a nap, or you just like, the sun's like blasting you, And then for some reason after surfing, whatever food that you touch immediately afterwards, like it's the best food in the whole world.
Oh, it is, huh?
I don't know what it is.
It's amazing, yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my my micro story there on entering into the water.
Yeah, that was the motivator, was always that meal afterwards. For some reason, it's just amazing. Yeah, I'm with you.
So water polo in high school, and that pulled you into Pepperdine.
Yep. Yeah, high school played. Yeah, we had a really good high school team. Really good group of guys. We won. We did really well that year. Junior and senior year, we did really. I mean, I think we won all 4 years CIFs, but then I remember 2001 and 2000. It was 2000 and 2001 were the years that we were we won like everything pretty much at that point.
Wow.
Yeah.
What year did you graduate?
2002.
Okay. Yeah. I'm 01.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Really?
We're close.
What do you know?
42. Are you 40?
I'm 42.
You're 42?
Right? I think, yeah.
Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm July 1982.
82?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 83.
Nice.
Yeah. So maybe I'm 41.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, somewhere in there. Well, we're close. Crazy.
Yeah.
And so I got to dive into this part of the story because somewhere along the way you must have picked up art.
Yeah. Art was, I always drew. I started high school. We have an incredible teacher there, Laura Hill. She was the best, art teacher ever, and she really, she let us like try a lot of things, and it gave us the time to work on a painting more than normally I feel like most teachers would, So her program was amazing. Yeah, she really kind of set the stage for artwork for me, for sure.
What did you start off on?
Acrylic paintings. I remember we did one. Yeah, she had one. Somebody come in and teach us how to do your self-portrait. That was kind of the big thing. And we weren't even close, except for my other buddy Jimmy. He nailed it. I was like far behind. I don't know. I wasn't like the best or anything, but I was like I just had a lot of fun doing it. And then and we had an art show at the end where you put all your paintings together and present it, and we. They let us name the art show and do everything. So yeah, it was a really fun art show. So it was really just let you see how everything worked. And then as a result, I wanted to be an art major in college, so
okay.
And Pepperdine had they had a great art program.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, especially art history was when I really connected with it, I feel like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Art history.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? I mean, what pulled you?
Yeah, I just loved I think just being with my brother and my dad. They're both really creative people, love just always making things and tinkering around, being resourceful. I always loved the idea of just being able to make, and you see artwork and all the incredible paintings out there at museums and all that stuff. And just the fact that you could, it doesn't cost much to make a painting, but you can make a true work of art, just by your own skill. That something was just really cool about that to me. And then and I also read a lot about Vince Van Gogh. I read his biography, and my mom actually connected me with that
in high school.
Yeah, in high school.
Wow.
And I loved that just because it was
what grabbed you in his story?
It was that the biggest thing was that he wasn't a natural artist. He was just kind of he struggled and hammered away and worked hard. And as a result, made some of the best art ever, So it was, that was incredible to me. And he had some ups and downs, obviously, but, poor guy had a lot of mental health things, but, everybody does,
Sure.
And then, and his brother really supported him a lot. So it was, his story was just cool because he created some amazing, truly, and I still go back and look at his stuff and you're always just like, wow, it's just, he just floors you, he's replicated a lot, and I think a lot of people like him, but he's an obvious choice, but, but I think there's a reason why he's an obvious choice, because it's just his paintings are they have so much gravity, and you know, his ocean stuff was always legit too. You know, he was really able to capture the ocean, the water moving, and yeah, I was always impressed by his whole deal, and he lived a life of people just telling him no, you know. So his career was, you know, it didn't end up well for the guy because he ended up committing suicide. But everybody was like, no. He, you know, told him he wasn't good in his whole life, and then all of a sudden people started seeing it more, and as they settled in for people, they were all, you know, he's become one of the greatest.
This is after his death, though, right?
After his death, yeah.
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
He didn't get to see it.
He didn't get to see it. No.
Wild.
How huge he got. Yeah. Yeah. So I was always just blown away by that whole thing. And, and the amount of work he did too is just insane. You know, he painted so much. It was, I think he painted, I can't remember the numbers, but it's impressive the amount of paintings he produced in such a short period of time of his art career. So
what is that? Is that like 50? Is that 100? Is that?
It's like, I think it works out to be like 4 a day for him to be able to do it, you know, or like something like that. It was just a lot of work.
So he's just dumping paintings.
Yeah. Just cranking through them.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a result, I think he was just.
So these are like thousands maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of paintings that from a very short period of time.
Wow.
And they're all, I mean, not all of them are insane, but I mean, they're all really, I mean, even his bad ones are insane, really, you know, but people say they're bad, but he was probably, they're all amazing. Yeah.
Is it just you're able to see something in the strokes, or you're able to see something in the painting that, because you paint, you know, you can see something that the average person can't see?
Yeah, you just kind of get into a good groove. It's like it's like when you're actually doing it, it's just a feeling that you get into, and it's like, you're not in control anymore. You know, it's like you're just kind of, you're just following something else.
Oh,
it's like the surfing thing. It's like the ocean. It's like, you're following the similar thing. And so that's the God thing, obviously.
It is.
You're just following something else, you know, and it's not all the layers of the paint and the colors and stuff. It's like it becomes almost like an instinctive thing. It's like it's like a primal God connection for sure.
Yeah. The creator is helping the creators.
Yeah. That's why he's the creator.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now I was looking at one of your paintings, man. I was zooming in on it, and you did this piece, where the horses are running into the water.
Yeah.
And dude, the attention to detail in that thing of, the movement of the water and the way the horses are hitting and all that stuff. I was just watching and I'm just like, this guy, like, again, I don't know Dougie Mann, but it's just like through your painting, I could see that you understand, you know, the ocean, you understand the movement of the water and the way a horse would hit it and like what it would feel like and what it would look. It was like when I was zooming in on what was happening there, I could feel. I guess I could feel the movement of the horse in the water, and like it was, you know, being imported into that. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thanks for checking it
out. So you're still doing this then?
Yeah. That one was for a restaurant in Orange. It's Orange Circle is where it is in Orange County. But it's a really cool restaurant. The guy, OCOSEA is the name of it. It's amazing, like really modern, you know, seafood. So it's really cool. And so it took a while to come up with the final concept, but that was kind of pieced together by about 3 or 4 different images. And then, once we landed on the concept, I found a cool ship to be out there. And then the cowboys were cool old, Paniolo that were back in the day in Hawaii, the Hawaiian cowboys were called the Paniolo.
Okay.
And then they would bring the horses down to the sea, and then and this is before they had cranes or however they do it now, but they would just, you know, swim the cows out to the ship, and I guess I don't know how they got them out.
Wild.
Yeah, they would literally just swim them out with their horses, and they just drive out there
in the ocean.
In the ocean, yeah,
dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a trip.
So you're producing. So this is something you're doing actively. You produce paintings for all kinds of different
Yep.
people for different reasons.
Yeah.
Businesses, restaurants,
Restaurants. Yeah. I'm trying to do more like
individual, of course, as well.
a lot of individual commissions. Had a lot of really amazing support on over Christmas. You know, people ordered up. Critical time too for me. It was yeah, we were because my former business was a branding company, and our little niche will dried up for a bit there, and I think it seems like maybe there's bright in the future, but as a result, it was cool because it made me just focus on painting and truly dig into it a lot, like even deeper. But yeah, I need to make a full collection of new stuff that's from me. I did do a couple things already, but yeah, there'll slowly be a trickle of things that are from me on my Instagram. That's kind of the next step.
Dougie Mann. So they can find, there's a link on your profile there they can click on and find a lot of your stuff.
Yeah, my website, I got a website, dougiemann.com, DOUG.
Is that how they would buy a piece? They would click on the website, and then you're going to have pieces posted there. They contact you?
Yeah, I have a couple for sale right now. And then, there's 2 for sale, but then I have, I'm going to be putting more stuff up there. And I'm going to evolve it more. There's going to be more stuff too over the next probably, this first half of this year. My goal is to have also some shirts, hats, stuff like that.
Yes.
So, that's kind of the bigger picture plan.
You brought me the mug.
Yeah, we brought the mug.
With your image on it. I love this. Gold handle. We got the stagecoach on the front. We got the Duke Ringo Kid on the back, and I dropped my coffee in here today because I had to do it. I mean, it's like I'm enjoying this right now.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about this.
Yeah, so that's a project I got to do with John Wayne, the family of John Wayne. They still run a brand for him right now.
Wow.
And
the John Wayne. We become friends, but it started as an acquaintance. Ethan Wayne is his son, his youngest son, and then he's been running the brand for a long time now. But we got connected with an earlier project. I had a hat company and we did a bunch of patches on the hats. They're all hand painted patches, but they were all telling the story of John Wayne on his boat because his boat was called the Wild Goose, and so they had a Wild Goose.
Yeah, so it was amazing. It was 136 feet or so, but it was an old minesweeper, and he made it into a yacht, so made it cooler, but it was still, Ethan described it as it was not comfortable, like a yacht. It was just very utilitarian.
Got it.
The Duke would have,
Yeah.
And, so I got to check all that stuff out. They gave me Ethan pulled out all these cool images that I could look at and put together a little collection of these patches that were on hats. And I painted just one was the Duke holding his hand, just holding a cup of coffee. There was a axe that was from the boat that Ethan would take to glaciers up in Alaska and they would cut the glacier ice for cocktails on the boat. So Ethan would have to go bring the ice back for the cocktails.
Crazy. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. And this was a long time ago too. So it was nothing around, the boat was the only sign of, of civilization. And so it was amazing place that he created. And Ethan describes it as it was the one place that he could fully kind of check out and not have to be fully John Wayne, he could kind of just groove a little bit more. And they go to Catalina everywhere, all over the world. And so Ethan they had this other collection after that project, the painted patches that we did. It was a while ago, but then I made a print of that and I went over there to talk to Ethan and he said, we have some more projects for you. I was asking him if if he was okay with me selling the print, but then it turned into a whole bunch more. It was really cool. So he wanted these, starting with these, which were the gold handle mugs, were these mugs that John Wayne used to give to the cast and crew of every movie he did.
No way.
Yeah. So they were all hand done. The original ones were amazing because they were all, people would hand do all the artwork with the enamel, like all the enamel on the actual mug. So they were more like, each one is like a piece of folk art, and the artist guys were like, just guys like literally like in their garage and like Costa Mesa, like, and then eventually there's a bunch of cool stories about the people who actually made them. And then, so this was kind of using the current, capabilities of, I think this was you printed on there kind of thing, but it's within the constraints of that, trying to match the quality of those images that those guys were making them those days. So yeah, that was
you painted this.
Yeah, so I drew. Yeah, I drew it, and I did a lot of things with it. So drew it and hand painted it, but then also that one's actually eventually to the point where I was just changing the colors in the background of the drawing, but it was edited on the computer at that point. But yeah, so it was. Yeah, but drew it, and then we did it in pencil originally, and then kind of built onto some watercolor stuff. But yeah, picked that scene out of the movie Stagecoach, and presented it to them. They liked it, and then and then I visited the factory here. It's right here in L.A.
Oh, no way!
These things, yeah.
Okay.
So the gold handle's hard to do, I guess, because they have to hand paint it on there. It's real good gold, so it's
dude.
Yeah, it's legit.
So cool. Yeah. Are they still around? Can people get them?
Yeah, it's on John Wayne's. Their site is JW Stock and Supply, I believe. .com is their brand that they have. It's
John Wayne Stock and Supply. I see.
If you just Google John Wayne gold handle mug, or it'll pop up right away.
It says this mug was stolen from John Wayne.
Yeah,
so cool.
Yeah, so he used to have on all his he used to have mugs on the Wild Goose's boat. So they had the picture, similar looking drawing, but it was of the boat, the Wild Goose. And it had stolen from the Wild Goose on the bottom was his from those mugs. So Ethan wanted to replicate that. So that was kind of a version of that. Yeah.
Are you drawn to history? You're drawn to the past? You're drawn to, the Western world, like cowboys and yes.
Love that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd this come from?
From my dad, really. I mean, John Wayne was an introduction because my dad always loved him,
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, it's like anything else.
Just watch all the shows when you're young.
Yeah, we would go. He when he was working for the Chart House restaurants, we would go to his region was Colorado and Hawaii. So we would road trip out to, and I lived in Coronado. So whenever he had to do stuff in Colorado, we would just load up in his van and road trip out there.
So cool.
And as a result, he had this little, I think they bought it at Price Club back then, but it became Costco. And they had this little VCR thing, little TV thing that plugged into the cigarette outlet.
Nice.
Yeah, I had like three VHSs for the whole trip, so I just rotate through them. And
these are all John Wayne?
One was John Wayne, one was Nevada Smith with Steve McQueen.
Okay,
so,
nice.
Yeah, I was just back there getting radical in my head. My dad was just knowing that I was watching the right stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the third would be, I remember switching between one of the Naked Gun movies or I think that was probably, it was always kind of I feel like it was one of the Naked Gun movies.
Yeah,
we would go to the library and get something. Usually it was either Naked Gun, Leslie Nielsen stuff, or, I would just, whatever, So then rotate through that and
it's fun.
Watch those VHSs over and over again.
Yeah.
Rewinding them and playing them. And then, so as a result, I became, a John Wayne fan. And then, and my kids, I forced them to watch some of the Westerns too.
Yes.
And, just planting the seeds,
They love it?
Yeah, they do. Actually, Sonny does. Sonny, my boy, he's fired up on him now.
Yeah.
And Buck used to like him. I think he likes him still.
Huh.
Yeah. It's not the number one show these days, but it's definitely, I've taken notes from my father-in-law, actually. He always plays Endless Summer every time we hang out with him. Which is like the original one. So it's just so cool to have the kids watch that and see the old surfing stuff. And
totally.
And as a result, I've kind of picked, I think, my version of we'll watch Endless Summer too, but also El Dorado is the one we've been watching. So yeah, that was the one I watched on repeat. So I'm going to have them watch Nevada Smith too. But I remember beginning was kind of a little bit gnarly, but
And you got 4 kids.
4 kids. Yeah.
What are your ages?
My oldest boy, Buck, is 11. Dolly's 7. Sonny D. His middle name's Daniel after my brother, Sonny D. He's 5, and my youngest girl, Winnie, is she calls herself Mimi. She is she's 1.5.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, you got a full house.
We do.
You guys are running, man.
Yeah, we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are going for it. You know, I mean, I guess a lot more families are entering into a bit more kids, but that's a big deal. I mean,
It is. Yeah. It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
you and your wife just excited about big family and just running with it.
Yeah. Oh, she knew, she has like, her mom and dad are so awesome. They coach her through so many things, but it's like she heard the, you know, spacing them out 3 years apart was what we heard. So we did that. And then, which has been cool. It's like a cool dynamic. Buck's 11 now. Our youngest is 1.5. And Sonny and him it's almost a similar difference between my brother and I and Winnie will be. But Sonny's kind of, there's a good little gap there that keeps Buck young and Sonny, but also can challenge Sonny too. And Buck's amazingly responsible and cool, and he helps with them out. He helps out a lot, you know. So yeah, it changed. The dynamic changes a lot from being little, and then and the first kid, such a different mindset with your first kid versus your fourth, you know.
How long you guys been married?
We've been dating for 19, this will be 19 years, and then, but married for, 14.
Awesome.
14 or 15.
Incredible.
Yeah.
A legacy.
Yeah. Yeah. We're just trying to follow in the footsteps of my dad, and my in-laws are awesome too. They've been married this whole time.
Awesome.
Yeah. So they've been incredible, and they live nearby. So we hang out, you know, multiple times a week, so we're always with them. Lala and Granddaddy, so shout out to them.
Yes, the family, the fam getting together. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So Dougie, you're an entrepreneur. You've built out a couple brands and been running with these businesses.
Yeah.
You got Big Yellow Coffee.
Big Yellow Coffee, baby.
And the Mann Company.
Mann Company, yep.
And you helped start Pier Club.
Pier Club.
I want to hear about all this stuff. I mean, where did this come from? Again, where did these things start? I mean, that you would even try to build something from scratch.
Yeah.
You would want to take that risk, that you would want to just go for it.
That's it. You know, it's always like, just wanting to do something just for the sake of Pier Club in particular is very much that. It's
so what's the Pier Club?
The Pier Club is just a group of people who swim the Newport Pier every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday?
Yeah, at 7:45. That's
7:45.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started it with my friend there, he's the head coach at Newport Harbor water polo, Ross Sinclair. He's a awesome guy, and so we started it, you know, just on a whim. And I had my clothing company at the time was Ert Clothing, and so I was trying to just, you know, promote it and do grassroots marketing. I just really wanted to connect with people on, you know, legit level and make it manageable. So make it a program that, you know, I felt like I could do for the long term. So once a week at 7:45, I felt like I could, if I couldn't do it, then somebody else could. So that's why we reached out to, you know, anybody who was, you know, a sucker enough to come swim the pier with us.
Rain or shine.
Yeah. So we got a good,
warm.
And over the past 13 years or so, it has, you know, grown. We've had like a crazy journey of people coming in and out, different life phases, people going, you know, everybody kind of goes through life's challenges and then kind of end up at Pier Club. And we all, because the best part about it is once you're done swimming is you go get some coffee afterwards. So we drink coffee and
hang, catch up.
Yeah, get caught up, and you know, it's cool too because it's like you're meeting younger kids, you know, college age kids who somehow hear about it, and like, how'd you hear about this thing, you know? And so they always have a cool story, and it keeps you kind of in tune with these kids. It's cool. Yeah, so it's it's just a community thing. It's just purely, it's not monetized or anything. It's just show up. It's very unofficial. just come on down. We'll be there swimming. So if you want to come swim too.
Man, so what is this swim like? I mean,
It's short. It's, it's around the pier. It's a relatively short pier. It's probably 650 yards, give or take, depending on tide. But,
okay.
Yeah, it ranges from, the easiest swim you've ever had, summertime, really nice and warm, to literally there's one Pier Club. I remember I only got about 3/4 of the way around the pier. And then we timed it kind of wrong. We had to go even further down the beach and then swim out because the current was cranking.
Whoa.
The current was cranking. There was a big swell coming in. It was a storm. And you literally, I only got about 3/4 of the way out there and then just went through the pier and then came back around. But
because the current was so strong, it was just pushing.
Yeah. We moved up the beach, but we didn't move up far enough.
I see. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a fun swing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you guys, no wetsuits.
No wetsuits. Yeah. That's kind of the challenge. It was, I've never really worn a wetsuit.
Even when you surf.
Yeah. It was, I don't know. As a kid, I think the problem was I got one of my first wetsuits was this lame, it was too small. It was this Rip Curl.
Yeah.
No jive on Rip Curl, but this one totally. Was a bummer, man.
Yeah.
It was
back in the day, though.
Yeah. And I had to wrestle that thing off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just kind of like, yeah. So as a result, I kind of stopped wearing wetsuits at one point, just out of convenience. And so just gave it up. My brother thinks I'm crazy.
Is it no big deal now?
Yeah, it's no big deal. I don't surf like, 2 or 3 hours, but right. Unless it's really warm. But it's I go for my little hour or whatever, done. I'm very cold by the end of it, but it's great.
I said it's gonna be so good for you.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I think humans are made to get that cold, and like we don't do it very often, and just that uncomfortableness is like, it's like a cold plunge.
Yeah, I feel like it's like something about the ocean's even better than a cold plunge. It's like there's
yes,
you're connecting to something huge down there. It's just it's truly a surreal feeling and something. And right when you come, you're in every single time. You don't want to go in. It's just it's the worst idea of your life. And it's always shocking how little you want to go in.
Right.
It's just like, it's always, every single time,
Yeah.
And you're always surprised by how horrible of an idea this is. And then you go in and it's like, it was still a bad idea, and then you get once you get around the pier a little bit, then you're like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden it's like a different thing. It's like something, your body acclimates to the cold. You're connected to something else, and you're in something bigger than yourself at that point. And it's truly crazy what it does, really, for me anyway. It's like every time it's a crazy spiritual whatever. I'm definitely connected with something bigger than myself in the ocean every single time. So I'm always in it for that, and I'm hooked on that part of it.
When you think through, I mean, you've been in the water so much. When you think through the mind of God as to like why he might have created this for humans, like what do you think?
I don't know why. It's just I think we don't even know. I think we haven't figured it out yet. Really, there's something more to it for sure. Is my theory, but it's just there because there's something else we can do. I feel like that's like you hear about the free divers who can, and I've done a little bit, but when they can free dive and go down, how deep they go crazy deep, but. They say that I was reading a book, what was it? Breath? Have you heard of that one? Breath. I think it's called Breath or Breathe or something. But that book it was explaining that you turn into, when you go down that deep in the cold, your body literally starts to somehow change to become closer to a fish. You're literally like physically metamorphosizing into something else. Yeah. And like you can dive down that deep. I think people dive 300 or whatever feet, but even if like 100 or so, you are turning into, or probably 50 feet or, 100. Once you start diving down there, you're literally changing into something else. And then it's like there's something crazy that happens. You physically change, mentally change. And, I was reading a lot about that, but I'm not sure the reason why, but yeah, I think it's something that we've lost touch with, you know, a little bit, you know.
Yes.
But it's like, and we can't stay that long because we are. But when we come back up, you don't get the bends, you don't get anything. But if you go down, that was it. If you go down as a fish, you become like a fish, and you don't get the bends coming back up. If you go down in your scuba equipment, you got to like slowly kind of work your way down and slowly work your way up.
If you free dive, you don't get the bends.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, yeah. So
I didn't know that.
you're naturally able to do it.
I scuba. I mean, I've scuba quite a few times, but
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
super.
you can explain what that is. So
So the bends is like when you come up from scuba diving. You know scuba better than me. I've just heard from people, but it's you come up and slowly make your way up, right? And then
you have to slowly you have to make stops on your way. Like, let's say you dive 100 feet. Like I think it's every 20 or 30 feet. Like you have to stop and let your body acclimate because something's happening in your blood. Is it nitrogen? I don't.
Yeah, maybe it's nitrogen or
something's happened in your blood.
Either too much oxygen or nitrogen or something.
Something.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
And your body needs to acclimate coming back up, so you have to keep stopping on your way up. Like you can't just go to the surface or you get the bends.
Yeah, which you can die from pretty quickly unless you get then you have to get to the hospital really quickly and you'll survive. Actually, my buddy he just had it, but but anyway the when you free dive down and then you come back up. I mean, you can as long as you work your way into it. I think there's a workup process to it all, but yeah, I've only gone like probably 30 or 40, maybe 50 feet, but it's the bends part of it never happened in that thing, you know, and your body's ready to do it is the crazy thing.
Yeah, it's wild.
So then when you come back up from diving that deep, like this guy, Al Hansen, who's a spearfisher guy that I've always admired in Coronado, but he's always just diving down really, really deep and getting these really big fish. But yeah, it's crazy how you just come back up, you don't get the bends, and there's something as long as you have to get used to it to some extent, but it's and work your way down there. But once I think anybody can go like down 30 or 40, 50 feet and be fine, you know.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then it's a crazy thing.
And free diving, if you didn't know, it's basically just take a deep breath.
Yep.
Or you can condition your breathing a little bit. Some guys will do, especially when they hold their breath for a really long time.
Yeah.
Doing some breathing exercises before you dive, and then you just go down, and you're just swimming into the deep with no gear.
No gear, yeah.
I mean, you got your goggles on, you got spear, maybe you got fins, but that's it. And then the fact that your body can do that, I did not know. But that is it's kind of back to what you had said, like we were made for this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We were made to be down there.
We were. And yeah, you get, once you lose the fear for the ocean, it takes, comfort. It takes being comfortable in the water too, you know. A lot of people are rightfully scared of the ocean because some people you get in there and, they don't know what to do, but
right.
It's, as you build your skills in it, it's very empowering, and yeah, I'm a huge advocate for the ocean, just getting in there and always going in there. Even if you don't know how to do much there, just go out and, just get wet.
One of my buddies was, he taught a sermon this like 2 weeks ago, and he's talking about this very thing, almost like restoring ourselves back to like the human way, like this restoration back to like creation. And basically because these things have pulled us, so far away from it. It's like we are entering into a digital world so much that we're losing touch with the real world.
Yeah.
And they say, like, I can't remember what the statistic is, but majority of people in America, like they're inside like 80% of the day or something.
Makes sense.
And we were actually made to be outside. Like we weren't made to be inside.
Yeah.
And so we don't touch the ground anymore. We don't touch the water anymore. We don't touch the sun anymore. We don't touch the mountains and the trees and the plants and animals. And like we are so disconnected from nature and from creation when we were made to be in it, like back to the Garden of Eden.
Yep.
Like, subdue it, have dominion over it, like enjoy it. Like I made you to be with me and to enjoy this playground that I've made. Now get on with it.
Yep.
And that's the way I see it. Like because people have bad experiences in the ocean, no doubt. It's like they're a kid and they get pushed out in the ocean and they get salt water in their mouth.
It's sandy and dirty.
Yeah, they have sand in their eyes. They get tumbled and they're like, I'm never doing that again,
Yeah, everybody has that moment. Yeah.
Right. And then but man, if there is a reason why there are so many people on the planet who just like want to live in that thing. Like they just want to be like, there's something out there that like, and I do think it's magical. I do think that it's restorative. Have you ever, Britt Merrick, Channel Islands?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The son of,
yeah, that's right. Al Merrick. Yeah.
I don't think I've met him, but I've heard of him. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Britt, I don't know him personally, but I've heard a lot of his story and listened to some of his podcasts and things that he's done. And, yeah, he obviously grew up under
check him out.
Yeah, Al Merrick, and he's taken over the company now, and he's running everything now and shaping for all the pros. But he was a pastor for a long time. He served in the church and did a lot of work in the church. And he went through some really wild hardship. Some really crazy things happened to he and his family.
Oh wow.
To his daughter, sadly, and it was a very heavy season for him. He talks about in a podcast, man, about how the aftermath of all that had happened, his daughter had passed, and really sad.
Yeah.
But in the aftermath, he was talking about how what healed him was paddling out.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Like he up in Rincon, like he would paddle out and sit in the ocean and like just let God just like work in him, and just like heal his heart, heal his mind. And just like there was this restorative process that was taking place in the process of having fun, catching a great wave, just sitting in the elements and like just soaking in whatever's going on out there. And that's the thing, if you've experienced it, like everybody's like, yeah, of course, like we get it. Like it's like there's something in there.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's Shabbat for me. It's Sabbath for me. Like if I can
100%.
get in the water, if I can get in the water, like, I don't know why, but it's like this rest and this relaxation. A lot of people, it's this crazy workout and they're like, what just happened to me? It's like, it's the opposite. Like after that fun and that workout and that experience, it's like, there's this peace, that like can show up.
Yeah.
As long as you're not at Malibu getting a fight with some dudes out there, there is this something that shows up.
Yeah, exactly. It is there's a crazy feeling that happens for sure. It's like it's like you get released a lot of crazy chemicals from your brain and then, but there's also, and I think that stuff happens in the cold plunge, but then I do think there's something more to just being in the ocean. There's just, even if it's not as cold as, a cold plunge, there's just something more that happens when you go in the ocean. Even if it's, 56, 50, 59, it's cold. Yeah. Cold. I think ice, when they get those cold plunges, they get real cold down to whatever freezing is, 30, 37, 38. But yeah, you don't have to get that cold you get more out of the 56-degree water than you do out of the really cold ice bath, I would say, for me personally. But yeah.
So you're saying that people should find you at Newport Pier and come out and swim the pier at least one time.
Come on down. Bring fins if you're worried. Yeah. We have a good group. There's a lot of people that take it nice and easy and they're just hanging. It's cruising, So it's a good stepping stone. And if you get nervous, just turn around and head on in, Yeah. But it's a shorter, relatively short swim. I remember we've had a lot of people come through it, and one guy, Aaron Pearsall, is this Olympic swimmer guy, but he was like, he would get just mad that how short it was, I was like, oh, just swim more before you show up, man.
Like, can I do it twice?
Yeah, he would do really far. I remember
he's doing laps on the pier.
Yeah, he was like, I remember. Yeah, he was going pier to pier just to like every morning he would swim multiple pier to piers and runs. He just was like, the guy's a true specimen of a human, and an incredible swimmer. So,
have you ever seen any sharks out there?
I've never seen it like clear as day.
Yeah,
but there was one situation where my buddy Jesse and I, he's another Olympic guy. We went to Pepperdine together and high school together. But we were out at Old Man's there, and I had my all-in-one, so I was way out there. And then it seemed like there was a big splash kind of a thing, and everybody claimed it was a shark. And I mean, I guess it could have been. The guy was like, "Oh," some guy next to me was like, "Oh, that was a 5 to 6 mako or something," you know. And I'm like, "All right, you know, 5 to 6 foot shark." Like, you figured out how long it was just by that splash, dude? And so he ran in and told the lifeguards that there was a shark sighting, and they clearly told everybody to clear out if they knew it was good for them. But it was great because they were all gone, and Jesse and I had the place to ourselves, man.
Dude, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
No, so I try to tell people they're for sure out there, but it's like, it's so rare. I've been surfing 20 years. I've never seen a shark out there.
Never.
And it's actually true. It's great propaganda. There are lots of sharks out there. Nobody go out. Don't go out in the water.
Full of them.
They're everywhere. They're going to get you. Don't surf. Nobody surf.
Yeah. I mean, Jaws was gnarly. I'm still scared. I get scared because of Jaws, man.
we blast the soundtrack right before we go out.
Yeah.
Just to like get everybody out of the water.
You get sharky, you know. That's what you call it. You get out there. Danny and I talk about it a lot. Once you get out there, all of a sudden you feel sharky, you know. But it's and you got to pass. That's one of the challenges, is not letting it bug you. Keep going, you know. Keep doing your thing, because then literally between him and I, we probably have close to 60 years of ocean activity, and it was never seen a shark really. You know, I see a lot of videos.
Right.
That's the thing too, is the social media. There's so many cameras now, they're able to capture it all the time. Whenever they're around in the drones, they're able to spot them. So yeah, you see them a lot, but they don't really want you, you know. They want to stay away from you.
Totally. Yeah. So you've got the Pier Club, and you've got Big Yellow Coffee as well.
Big Yellow Coffee, yep.
And you got a giant whale on that thing. Yeah,
so this one's the Big Yellow is that was actually a whale my dad carved. It's on our house. It's a piece of wood in our house, but
very cool.
In his house. And then and my mom actually helped him with it. And then so Big Yellow was started by two buddies, two lifeguard pals in Coronado, that are, both of them went through Navy SEALs.
Okay.
They're both in different, you know, their little professions as well as me, but it's a low key coffee endeavor. We got
very cool
our roasters in San Diego, and we make we just nerd out on the coffee. You know, we mostly just wanted to learn more about coffee, so this was our excuse to do it. He also, when my dad was on the Jocko podcast too, he wanted something to talk about, so it was, you know, we decided we wanted to try to sling some coffee through that and mention it there, see what happened, you know, see what happened with Jocko, and that was our start, was being announced on that.
Awesome.
My dad talking about it there, and then and it, you know, gave us a good little starting wind, you know. So the Jocko effect was real. And then we had we've been through a lot with our website trying to get it all where it is, you know. But I just love the coffee part of it, and the, you know, building the look and feel. So it's named after Big Yellow, which is my dad's van. He has a Big Yellow Ford van.
Nice.
And the spirit of it is in his, you know, his life and his moral compass and his stories and everything. So trying to just honor that and, you know, have that as the kind of the underlying, you know, mission. So, and then, you know, just trying to make the best cup of coffee that you can drink every day. You know, I drink a lot of coffee, so it's I just like to have something that's really good every single time. So that was kind of the goal with our roast.
When did you guys start it?
It's been 3 years, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then are you guys providing, is this for coffee shops primarily? Is this for individuals?
Solely online at this point, bigyellowcoffee.com, but
awesome.
It's been, purely for, subscription deal.
Awesome.
We try to give a good price for that, and just trying to come up with cool roasts and tell my dad's story a little bit, and and it's yeah, just trying to be fired up and have a good cup of coffee. Really, is what it comes down to. It's been good.
You guys sourcing beans from any specific area?
Yeah, our original roast is from the Chiapas region of Mexico. So
Okay.
we had it's just that region has just really cool, really good flavor happening. It's a single origin at this point, and all high altitude beans. So it's just that the goal was like that epic, kind of raise the level of a everyday cup of coffee. So my dad's like old school, so he loves his, he's really quirky, but he loves his coffee any way he can get it. So he gets his Starbucks and then he puts his cup of, in there, and he loves his percolator. So when we saw that, we were like, we got to upgrade this guy's deal, but we did the best we can. And he still uses the percolator, but he at least has a good cup of coffee every single day. Yeah.
Awesome. We'll have to check out the beans. So you guys, Instagram, social media stuff, or is it website's the best place to find it?
Website, and we have Instagram as well. Yeah, and Twitter, I think, or X. Yeah, we got those two things going at this point.
Awesome. And then and a subscription platform so people can basically sign up and get bags sent to them. Is that weekly or monthly?
Anyway, you can choose whatever option you want that works for your budget and whatever your timing is. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm kind of, to be honest, I'm tired of subscriptions getting pumped in my way, but
sure.
Yeah. So if you're not subscription fatigued, if you could have bandwidth for Big Yellow Coffee, we'd love to have you over there.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's needed. Coffee is it's just no brainer. It's happening every month, no matter what. Yeah, it's going to happen. So check out some of the Big Yellow Coffee. And then tell me a bit more about the Mann Company.
Yeah, Mann Company is kind of my beginning of my art, trying to figure out my art and that stuff. So trying to, there's no website yet. It's just still early, but it's art. It's, I'm trying to also connect with try to get bigger things. Like I think there's a lot of, I know in real estate, there's a lot of, I've been hearing about, they have budgets when they build buildings and stuff for real artwork.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to position that into being that, know? So I also, there's also like a lot of, there's a couple things that have, at this moment, it may change, but this is kind of the early idea is that we make the site map for the building, but make it cool. Like a real piece of artwork that can be in the lobby that's really large scale. I have all so I was inspired by, I've seen a lot of those maps kind of here and there. One of them's at the Newport Harbor Yacht Club. They have this huge map of the surrounding yacht clubs, but it was built, but painted probably in the 20s, I think.
Okay.
But it's just like, I don't know, this is the feeling of it, and the integrity of artistic integrity there is amazing. And I'm trying to get, and I know I've done a lot of branding for, a lot of commercial real estate. So that was kind of our niche, office in particular. And so they love a good site map.
Yeah.
So if you could this is kind of the ultimate site map, is to have a hand painted site map of whatever it is. It could be, your building, it could be a neighborhood, it could be a hotel, it could be a coffee shop, it could be whatever, but you hand paint this thing, but give it, make it a real piece of artwork that could survive. I think when you put it in your lobby or in your house or business, it will, give the goal is for it to just kind of give just have like a real true piece of art that is their site map and tells your story that clearly. And it's useful as well. It's utilitarian as well as artistic. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we need, I love real art, man. The museums, touring, and checking out this stuff. And there's so much in it. And I think, I don't know, there aren't a lot of old souls, around anymore, that are really pouring their heart and their their soul into paintings. You know, it's for a lot of other reasons, but I think this stuff is great. I love what you're doing.
I agree. Yeah, it's not duct taping a banana to the wall.
It's so true though. Like, why is this stuff even selling?
I don't know, man.
It's ridiculous.
I looked that one up. Like, I mean, it's just newsworthy. It's like, I think he hit a nerve. I think the artist's actually a pretty good artist, but it was cool. He hit a nerve and he enterprised on it, which was cool. People were stoked, and they literally have to it's a real banana and it's real duct tape, and he gave them a roll of duct tape, and then they have to find a banana as it gets rotten, and switch it out.
Whoa.
That's the deal.
That's the deal. And how much did you sell it for?
I think it was like $140,000 or something.
Oh my.
And then it resold for some crazy other amount. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, just having to replace the banana on like every week, I guess, probably.
Yeah. You're going to want to put a fake one up there eventually.
Yeah.
Jeez. No, it's fun. Well, Dougie, man, you inspiring, inspiring me, as a dad. I really, I don't know, like I said, downloading a lot of the ocean and a lot of your passion, for the water, and just want to see the next generation, love it just as much and hold on to these classic ways of doing things, and not losing touch with creation, not losing touch with, because it's happening, man. It is the digital world is taking over so great.
It really is.
And we got to fight back.
Yep.
And we need to raise up the next generation to love creation, love the nature, and love the one who made it. I want nothing more than my kids. They love the ocean already. So this is good.
That's good. Yeah.
I'm hoping they plunge deeper,
Yeah. As long as you're planting the seeds, I think that's all you got to do, Yeah. How many kids do you have?
I got 3.
3.
Yeah. So Eden Rose, she's 6. She's about to be 7.
Mm-hmm.
Shepherd Banks, we call him Shep.
Uh-huh.
And he's 4.
Oh man.
Yeah. He's and then he's the platinum. He's the blonde hair, blue eye kid, or green eyes now. But he's and then my little guy Wes. WES.
Yeah.
Wes Ames.
Wes Ames. That's cool.
He's the friend. Yeah, he's 2 years old.
Yeah.
So
cool.
yeah, so we got 6, 4, and 2, and I'm loving it, man. They're just, they cause you to slow down.
They do make you focus on something other than yourself almost all the time. Yeah.
And have fun.
Yeah, have fun. Yeah, not take it too seriously, and just make sure it makes you a true human, I think. Mm-hmm. It rounds you out 100%, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing like having kids, and it changed my life completely, forever, never see it the same.
Yeah.
And, doing everything I can to try to soak in the time, because it's just burning by so fast.
It is, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps going. All of a sudden, my oldest hit 11, and then, we're looking at middle school here soon. And, it's just everything's changing, So you can't hold on to them, so you just got to just enjoy them.
Yeah,
that's all you can really do.
Yeah.
We have our moment here.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
no, it's wise wisdom, and but loving it and loving the family time. Love that you got 4 kids and married 14 years, 19 years. Hayley, shout out, and that the next generation would stay married. They work hard at this, and raise good kids, and let's watch this thing flourish. Yeah,
it takes faith, It takes that faith and the, hanging on. And your marriage changes, but it's like it all ends up just being better, It's just it's like the ocean. There's just more depth in there. It just adds. If you stick through it all, it just adds a lot more depth. Like you said, people got to get married, stay married, have kids, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have grandkids.
Have grandkids. Yeah, do it early too. Well, not too early, but have it early and make sure you get some grandkids for your parents. That's the biggest gift you can give your parents is a grandkid. So if you can, it's a bummer, but if you can, it's a huge blessing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
So,
yeah. The Bible says it's the crown of life.
Yeah,
grandkids.
That's a great description. Of course, the Bible knows how to describe it right.
Yeah, well, I think your first go, with your kids, you're trying to figure it out and all that, right? And then you get the grandkids, and it's like you kind of understand a bit, but you're like you can't wait to just have fun with these kids and just like get after it.
Yeah.
And yeah, grandma and grandpa are the best. And I love it. I can't wait to. I'm excited about it. You know, I think I was scared when I was younger to grow old. You know, and
Yep.
and now I'm okay. You know, I've tried to take some risks in life and try to jump off the cliff and see what might happen. And by the grace of God, it's worked out pretty well. You know, and
yeah, man, you started a heck of a church.
Yes, yeah, 10 years ago.
It's a little bit of a risk to take.
Yeah, in LA. Yeah, it was wild. And it's been a wild season, but God's been gracious to us. He's been good to us. And like I said, you know, like you said it well, you know, there are a lot of seasons in life, but the depth is amazing. You know, if you crazy, man, you keep going deeper in the ocean, the stuff you find, man. I mean, it's magical down there. And
it is.
The same is true with life, you know?
Yep. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same digging around, yeah, and experience, and that's where God is, you know, and that's where God's taking you, 100%.
Dougie Mann, best place for people to find you and connect with you if they want a painting, they love to connect. What's the best place?
Yeah, DougieMann.com and Dougie Mann Big Yellow. Check out some coffee. Big Yellow.com, DougieMann.com, or shoot me an email, DougieMann@gmail.com. And that's it for now. The Mann Company stuff will formalize here in a bit, but
awesome.
Now that's where we're at.
And you could just show up 7:45 on Wednesday at the pier, and Dougie probably be there.
Yep. Hopefully one day I'll get the gear going for the new order of stuff. But yeah, so I've been slow on that. I owe those guys the fresh gear. So
I gotta rally some of the guys. We got to get down there and try this thing.
Come on down, man.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
You're have an open invitation.
Thank you, Dougie. Appreciate
Everybody does.
Yeah. No, we'd love to. Well, dude, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, just love your classic depth, man. I mean, it's just different. There aren't a lot of people that are still holding on. The few brothers, you know, that are still holding on to it, and it's really sweet to find other guys that are doing the same. So
you're too kind, man.
Yeah, door's always open, man. You guys need anything, you ever want to come back on the show, of course, love to have you.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Blessings on all that you do, and dude, let's go get some lunch.
Let's do it, baby.
All right. Hey, thanks so much for listening to the show today. We really appreciate you. And it would mean the world to us if you would like or subscribe and you would write an honest review for us. It's one of the fastest ways to get the word out for us and to share it with others. And so if you don't like texting for a review, you can always voice to text. That's a fast way to write one and really help us rate the show and get it out to the world. Thank you so much for listening again. We hope it continues to bless you and encourage you each and every week. And of course, leave you stoked.